Hello, I'm Henry Mack, and welcome to this week's Issues. Is Miami really the worst city in America to live? South Florida Business Journal's Brian Bandel breaks down the latest survey and how the city's economic gap played a big role in the findings. And longtime Sun Sentinel columnist Michael Mayo tells us about his new gig as the paper's food critic with the launch of the Eat Beat. But first, this 4th of July holiday comes at the height of summer travel season, with Americans trekking the globe despite growing fears about the mosquito-borne Zika virus. And so most recently, a mother from Haiti gave birth to a baby with Zika-related microcephaly, characterized by a noticeably underdeveloped head right here in Florida. And up until now, most travel-related cases of the Zika virus have originated in other countries in South America primarily, but the island nation of Haiti is less than 700 miles from Miami. And so is it really just a matter of time before we see the virus locally here? And so joining me now to discuss this and what locals can do to help with prevention, we welcome Dr. Nina Barrocal, Professor of Clinical Ophthalmology at Bascom Palmer Eye Institute, Chalmers Vasquez, Mosquito Operations Manager for Miami-Dade County's Solid Waste Management Department, and Dr. Camila Ventura, ophthalmologist at Bascom Palmer Eye Institute. Thank you for taking the time. A lot of people are alarmed and concerned, understandably, about this virus and what the county and other counties in South Florida are doing specifically to prevent the spread. But let's get to the doctors. You're ophthalmologists. How did you become Zika experts?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I do a lot of screening of babies in the neonate period at Jackson Memorial Hospital and Bascom Palmer Eye Institute. And because of this new fear of Zika, you know, we have to be aware of the findings. And luckily, we have Dr. Camila Ventura, who's from Recife, Brazil, the capital really of the Zika virus, and she has done most of the work with the Zika virus in the eyes. So luckily, we have her with us, and she's been able to teach us. We've been able to go to Brazil and look at these babies, so we're very well aware of the findings that we have to look for.
Right. So, Doc, can you tell us something new about the virus? We know that it spreads, at least in the United States, primarily from people that go abroad and then bring it back here. So far, we have no locally contracted cases of Zika, correct?
Correct. In Brazil, we know that many cases have been transmitted by the mosquito. Mosquito is the main transmitter of this disease, but we know also that it can be transmitted by blood transfusion and also sexually transmitted. So this is something that we know that the United States already have cases that were sexually transmitted. People that went to Brazil or South America got the disease and came back to the United States and transmitted to their partners.
Wow. So I know a lot of cases of men now, the disease can lay dormant in them, and then through sex it can be transmitted like weeks after the fact, right? So a lot of male athletes are opting out of the Olympics as a result.
Yeah, and the recommendation really is that if you're a male and you were infected with the Zika virus, you should wait at least 6 months before you try to procreate, if that's what you're looking for.
Right. So anything new that we should know about the virus?
So now we're talking about a congenital Zika syndrome. It's very important that the population gets this information. It's not about only microcephaly. Babies can or not have microcephaly, but they also can have other disorders, other findings, such as ocular findings. What we have seen in our patients, 55% of these babies can have ocular findings, as well as hearing deficit, motor deficit, and they are really impaired. So rehabilitation, we're talking about babies that will need treatment and rehabilitation for their life.
Wow.
You know?
So what do you mean by ocular findings? Deficiencies in their ability to see?
But really severe findings. I mean, these children can actually be blind, legally blind from Zika.
Oh, wow. So you may not have a baby with microcephaly, which is the noticeable small cranium, right? But you can have a normal head, but you have these other issues.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is we should be screening, doing ocular screening in all babies, not only the babies with microcephaly, because then we can miss other babies that have ocular findings. And because we're putting as a criterion microcephaly, we can actually miss those babies.
Got you. Okay. So Mr. Vasquez.
Yes, sir.
Well, everybody is primarily concerned with the spread of it right here in South Florida. What is the county doing to ensure that this is not something that gets out of control?
Yes, we're doing two things. We're trying to educate our residents. The county has been embarking a big education campaign since the declaration of the health emergency by our governor. So we've been doing a number of things from that point of view. The other thing we're doing is we're responding to these cases, imported cases of Zika virus that the health department is referring to us. So as soon as we receive notification of what this person needs, so we deploy our people. Our mission is to go out there, eliminate mosquito breeding, and spray for mosquitoes that may be flying around. It is our mission, as I said, is to avoid that these mosquitoes become in contact and may bite a person that may be carrying the virus at the time.
Do you think you have it under control?
So far, so good. We've been dealing with this situation since December 23rd. It's already 6 months, and so far we have no locally transmitted cases.
Right. So, and there are two kinds of mosquitoes that transmit this disease. Are you spraying for both?
Yes. One, we have the two mosquito species in our county. It is Egypta, which is also known as the original as the yellow fever mosquitoes, and we also have Aedes albopictus. They are very closely related species. This is also known as the Asian tiger mosquitoes. The majority of the mosquito problem that we have, or as of the main vector that we have here, is going to be Aedes aegypti. This is found just about anywhere in our county, more than Aedes albopictus. Albopictus is relegated to wooded areas where containers are thrown and fill up with water, and this mosquito breed. But our main concern is Aedes aegypti. At this point, yes.
So I know you don't. Go ahead. Sorry, doctor.
So I was going to ask you, any time of the day that we have to be more concerned with mosquitoes, in the morning or at dusk?
Well, this mosquito species, especially Aedes aegypti, shows a bimodal activity. It is going to be activity early in the morning, maybe around 8, 9 o'clock, the latest in our area, and early in the evening when it's getting dark. So this is the critical point where you'll be bit by mosquitoes if you stay outside unprotected. So that's one of the reasons that it makes this mosquito very difficult to control, because it's a very weak flyer and does not fly very actively like any other species that we control.
What's this drain and cover initiative? Is this something obviously all locals can do?
We partner with the health department in that situation, and this mosquito is a strictly container breeder. So that's why we're telling our residents is drain, 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 drain. Don't keep any standing water around your property, because that is going to potentially breed mosquitoes. So that's our main message, and drain and cover. If you're going to be outside for whatever reason during the time, this mosquito may bite any time of the day, to be honest, but they are more active at those 2 times that I mentioned before. So that is the message.
Right. So the drain and cover initiative, right, advises us to discard old tires, drums, all standing water. We should get rid of it. And one of the most important things that I know a lot of people with pools neglect the pool chemistry, right? And so the water can fester and then breed mosquitoes rapidly.
This 2 mosquito species we're talking about, they are strictly container breeders, and they're going to exploit the small accumulation of water. That's where they're going to live. Stand and swimming pools, they may breed, but it's not our main concern. Our main concern is small containers. We have plants that collect water in our county, in our area also, which is bromeliads. There are entire neighborhoods everywhere you look, you see bromeliads. And bromeliads, in the absence of containers, the mosquito would breed there. It's a huge breeding ground in our county. We've been telling our residents that they need to be responsible. If they like bromeliads, there's nothing wrong with that, but they need to maintain it.
Maintain them, sure. Doctors, I mentioned this case of this Haiti mother who gave birth to a baby with microcephaly. Haiti's very close to us. Are you concerned at all about locally transmitted Zika viruses?
Well, I think what we're going to see, and I think the CDC is aware of this, is that after the summer months, we're going to get more people traveling to warm countries where Zika really is thriving. When they come back, if they have the infection during that first week and a mosquito bites them, that mosquito can continue biting other people and transmit the Zika. I think that's what we're going to be seeing.
As well, I think it's very important to emphasize that people won't feel the mosquito bite. So it's a mosquito that will bite and won't bring at the moment any symptoms like itchiness. And as for the rash, that it's very characteristic, it's an itchy rash, but it comes and goes in one day. So it's something that many of these mothers that had babies with microcephaly, they even did not refer symptoms at all. And that's why we emphasize once again, it's so important to screen all these babies being born, because we don't know when it's going to start, if we're going to see any case at all. But we predict that yes, because 3 of our United States territories have been affected already by Zika.
This might seem like a stupid question. So if a rash comes as a result of a mosquito bite, is there anything anybody should take, like a pill or some sort of nothing? There's nothing, right?
We don't have that. We don't have that yet. They're working on a Zika vaccine that hopefully will come out and will protect, young women who are in the reproductive years.
Right. Mr. Vasquez, I know you don't speak for the counties to the north, but just from your intel, how are Broward and Palm Beach doing with mosquito prevention?
If you looked at the reporting of this imported Zika cases, Broward County is second to us in the number of confirmations by the health department. Now Orlando will be third. So those are the 3 main areas in the state of Florida that are at high risk of transmission of this virus. They're doing the thing. The health department is providing help to us. We're getting help from the health department, and hopefully at some point money from the feds that will be free, and so we will get more help on that.
Yeah, you feel as if you're getting enough money from the governor's office to fight this?
If not from the state or the federal, our major, he pledged to provide to mosquito control anything that is needed to stop the threat of Zika virus.
And one last question, how can we get more information from your office if we wanted to?
We have a website. There's mosquitoes, solid waste mosquitoes, that's on our site. This information, and we are providing this information. Every time we're doing inspection, we're distributing the drain and cover, the whole tankers throughout the area.
Okay.
And we have a number of counties, agencies helping us. Parks, police, fire rescue, everybody's pitching in to help us disseminate the information.
Thank you. We'll have more information certainly on our own social media and our website for the viewers. Thank you all so much for being here. Island nation of Haiti is less than 700 miles from Miami. And so is it really just a matter of time before we see the virus locally here? And so joining me now to discuss this and what locals can do to help with prevention, we welcome Dr. Nina Barrocal, Professor of Clinical Ophthalmology at Bascom Palmer Eye Institute, Chalmers Vasquez, Mosquito Operations Manager for Miami-Dade County's Solid Waste Management Department, and Dr. Camila. 4th of July holiday comes at the height of summer travel season, with Americans trekking the globe despite growing fears about the mosquito-borne Zika virus. And so most recently, a mother from Haiti gave birth to a baby with Zika-related microcephaly, characterized by a noticeably underdeveloped head right here in Florida. And up until now, most travel-related cases of the Zika virus have originated in other countries in South America primarily, but the Ventura, ophthalmologist at Bascom Palmer Eye Institute, thank you for taking the time. A lot of people are alarmed and concerned, understandably, about this virus and what the county and other counties in South Florida are doing specifically to prevent the spread. But let's get to the doctors. You're ophthalmologists. How did you become Zika experts?
Well, it's interesting. I do a lot of screening of babies.
Hello, I'm Henry Mack, and welcome to this week's Issues. Is Miami really the worst city in America to live? South Florida Business Journal's Brian Bendel breaks down the latest survey and how the city's economic gap played a big role in the findings. And longtime Sun-Sentinel columnist Michael Mayo tells us about his new gig as the paper's food critic with the launch of the Eat Beat. But first, this
in the neonate period at Jackson Memorial Hospital and Bascom Palmer Eye Institute. And because of this new fear of Zika, we have to be aware of the findings. And luckily, we have Dr. Camila Ventura, who's from Recife, Brazil, the capital really of the Zika virus. And she has done most of the work with the Zika virus in the eyes. So luckily, we have her with us, and she's been able to teach us. We've been able to go to Brazil